Well, today we need to introduce a couple other concepts, I think, anyhow, and talk about it. You've got some additional problems, and again, I find that some of the stuff that we go over in Chapter 9 is extremely relevant to not just potentially what you'll do in business, but also in your personal life. And so that's why there's a whole extra week and a whole extra amount of stuff that's signed here, and I want you guys to get after these problems, I guess, and get them submitted. They're going to be due the 13th. We'll also, I'll probably send out a separate deal later this week, maybe about finding financial information. That might not be due until after spring break, but I definitely want to get it out to you so that you guys can consider that. So here's the three extra things that I want you to work on. Three Word docs of problems. How's that? Because there's multiple problems on each one. Okay. And part of this, a lot of these are going to be really similar to each other and a little bit of redundancy, but it's one of those cases where practice is good and more practice is even better. So I've already opened them. You guys can open them. I've also this one, I've got it in a Word doc, and actually, my recommendation is going to be to put it into an Excel, and I'll probably go ahead, I've done that, and I'll probably go ahead and save that in an Excel and include that on here so you guys can open that and just use that and then submit that versus having to copy and paste it into an Excel doc. It's not that big of a deal, but I guess if I've got it in an Excel, it makes it a little bit easier. So first one, easy, Chapter 9 problems. Okay, so we come here and we take a look, and the one concept that we haven't done yet, everything we've done I think has been in terms of annual, but what happens if we get monthly? Okay, what happens if we get monthly payments, or quarterly or semi-annual, or whatever the case may be? We need to make some adjustments. Okay, and so what I want to do is take a look at this. Maybe we'll call this easy problems here. I'll rename my tab, or easy problem 1 maybe. Okay, and oops, I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. Doggone it. There we go. So my first one is just car loan, and I've got different car loans here, right? But my first one's a car loan, and it's purchase price of $25,000, fairly similar, number of months 72, and annual interest rate is 6%. But it's monthly payments, right? Because I say number of months. So make sure you realize that when you're putting it down. So let's just go ahead and again, I'm gonna do it a little different, and I'll say here that I've got amount. NPER, number of periods, right? And then my rate. Okay. So I'll just make up some new numbers here. Let's say I'm gonna purchase $30,000, or at least that's what my loan amount's going to be, is a $30,000 vehicle, and I'm going to do it over just 5 years, and at a rate of 5.25%, 0.0525. Okay. So there's my terms. I'm going to make sure that I'm not duplicating just by accident something that I have on here. Otherwise, I didn't. Okay, good. Okay. So now I just need to calculate then what my payment's going to be, right? That's what I'm going to be solving for here is payment. But let's go take a look. Okay, so I come and I'm going to come here and go to financial alphabetically. I can go to the P's. There it is. I just want the one that says PMT. This PPMT would be principal payment. Okay, and so I just want the PMT. So let's click on that. And it asks me for my rate. And that's fine. This is my rate, except for this is my annual rate. Okay, this is my annual rate. And so I'll show you a couple different ways maybe to do this, but this is my rate. Okay, so I'll just click on that, but that's an annual rate, and I need a monthly rate because I'm making monthly payments, right? So if I just do that and I click, and I can do this right inside this, I'll click my divide and I'll then type in 12. So now I've taken my rate, my 5.25% rate, and I've divided by 12. It actually gives me that number out here. It's 0.004375, or an interest rate of 0.4375%. Okay. My number of periods, I do have those in monthly already. And so you read the problems, because I might say monthly payments 4 years, right? That's going to be 48. Okay, and then my amount is my present value. Gives me my answer. It's going to come in as a negative, and that's fine. I want it to be a negative. That's what's going to be leaving my pocket, right? I'm going to have a $30,000 loan, 60 months, 5.25%. What's going to be leaving my pocket is $569.58. Ooh, that's kind of a cool color. I like the darker one. The red shows up okay in there. Okay. So make sure that the key here is make sure that your rate and your number of periods are consistent. Okay. And we'll see then as we go through a couple of these other problems. Let's just go take a look. Second one's the same as the first, and so I'm not going to worry about showing you that. It's just different number of months and a different interest rate. The third one, though, we get into quarterly rates, right? So let's go change our easy problem 3. Okay, and let's make it quite a bit bigger here. And again, I just have an amount. I have the number of periods, and I'll show you another way that you could do this, certainly, and I've got my rate. Okay, so again, let's just pick an amount. We're going to do quarterly payments. Let's say I'm buying a little piece of property or something for $37,000. And my number of periods, I'm going to put that over 10 years. I'm just going to put in my 10 there, okay? But it's quarterly payments, and my rate is going to be 7.5%. Okay. Now I didn't convert either of these, but I want them to be quarterly. Okay. So what can I do? I could do it this way then too. I could say, well, this is equal to my number of periods, and since it's going to be quarterly, I take that times 4, right? 4 payments per year. It's 40. And then this one, okay, I can say is going to be my interest rate, and I need to divide that because this is an annual rate, but I need my quarterly rate, so I can take this and hit divided by 4. Okay. Oopsie. Didn't want that. There we go. Okay. There you have it. And then I could put my solution anywhere's down here. That's fine, but my solution's still going to be my payment. And I will just hit my payment up here, and again, financial, but I can go to most recently used. Okay, now I've done all this, okay, and so I don't have to put any formulas in up here, so I can just say this is my rate, my number of periods is my 40, and my present value is my 37,000. Again, I should come up with a negative number. Does that look about right? Probably, because if I took that times 40, I'd come up with about 52,000 over 10 years on a $37,000 loan. Sure. Okay. I like to do a little bit of that math in my head all the time, and just see how realistic it is, right? If, for example, this came up to an answer that somehow times 40 equaled 20,000, I would know that, I know that with interest I'm going to have to pay back more than what I'm borrowing, right? I'd also know that if this came to $1 million, unless my rate was astronomical, that would be too high. Okay, so it's always good to just do a little bit of math just to know that you're in the right area. So, Okay, back to the easy problems. Then we have, so a real estate loan, if you're going to buy a house, right? And that's real estate, it's my easy problem 4, but let's rename this. We'll call it easy problem 4. But the work's still the same. Okay, the numbers get a little bit different, bigger, but the work is still the same. You still have an amount. Okay, and you still have a number of periods, and you still have a rate, which is an annual rate. In this case, it's a house loan, so my amount might be $250,000. My number of periods might be, let's just say 25 years, and my rate might be, but I want monthly, right? I can maybe even put that up here. And my rate, I think I said look it up. Okay, yeah, so what I want you to do is go to some place and look up what current mortgage rates are. Okay, you can go online and find that, certainly bank rate or different sites like that will tell you what mortgage rates are. So give that a look up and see what they are, and then plug that in. Okay, make sure you show me what your rate is, right? So I can tell if you did the problem correctly or not. I'm just gonna say what the rates right now are about 3 3/4. Okay. There we go. And again, I'm just solving for payment. Okay, now I've got to do both maths inside my problem. I'm solving for payments, so my rate is this, but I have to divide that one by 12. Okay, my number of periods is 25, but that's in years, and so I need to make that times 12. Okay, and then my present value is 250,000. My loan amount would be, or my payment amount would be about $1,285 per month. Okay, that's a monthly payment. That looks about right, probably, for that size of a loan, would be my guess. So, okay, let's go take a look and see what else, if we got anything here. Hey, real estate loan 2 is annual payments, and we've been dealing with the annual payments, so your years and your rate are going to stay the same. And then a student loan is no different, really, than what we had. Again, I only give you 10 years, but I tell you monthly payments, so I've shown you how to do that in those other examples. So there you go. I'm going to make each video kind of separately here so that they're short and so that you can accomplish one deal. Yep, I'd like you to submit this maybe with one of the 5. I think there's 6 problems down there, and you can call them real estate 1, real estate 2, or car loan or student loan down here, whatever names you want to put on them, just so I can recognize it would be fine. So there you go. Enjoy those, practice them. You know, put in some of your own scenarios. You know, like how much of a house you could afford, right? So if you knew the payments, you knew the rate, you knew the number of periods, maybe you could back in and figure out what kind of a house you could afford. We'll look at some others that are like that. So thanks and enjoy.